The last 72 hours in Detroit have been absolutely wild, and something just happened involving Amon-Ra St. Brown that has Lions Nation buzzing in ways we haven't seen since the playoff run last season. Social media exploded yesterday afternoon. Fans started asking serious questions, and the implications of what's unfolding could reshape everything we thought we knew about this team's championship window. I'm going to walk you through exactly what's happening, but you need to stay with me because this story has layers that go way deeper than what you're seeing on the surface. Welcome to Lions News Fan Report, your home for the freshest update, the most reliable analysis, and the insider perspective on our Detroit Lions. If you're serious about following this team, if you want to understand what's really going on before everyone else catches on, hit that subscribe button right now, because what I'm about to share with you is going to change how you see the rest of the season. Let me set the stage for you. The Lions are sitting at 6-3, tied for first place in the NFC North. We're legitimate Super Bowl contenders for the first time in decades. The offense is explosive, the defense is improving, and the culture that Dan Campbell has built is exactly what this franchise needed. At the center of all of it, at the absolute heart of what makes this offense so dangerous, is number 14, Amon-Ra St. Brown. The guy who was a fourth-round pick in 2021 and has turned himself into one of the 5 best receivers in the entire NFL. Through 9 games this season, he's already got 64 catches for 693 yards and 8 touchdowns. Those numbers rank him 5th in receiving yards and 4th in receptions across the entire league. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler, a 2-time All-Pro, and he just signed a 4-year, $120 million extension back in April that keeps him in Detroit through 2020-8. Everything looks perfect on paper, right? The franchise receiver locked up long-term, playing at an elite level, leading us toward a champion. But then yesterday happened. St. Brown posted something on social media that sent shockwaves through the fan base. And I'm not talking about a typical game day hype post or a workout video. This was different. This was the kind of announcement that makes you stop scrolling and start asking questions. The St. Brown Foundation account, which is run by Amon-Ra and his brothers Equanimus and Osiris, announced a giveaway. On the surface, it seems innocent enough. They're giving away a signed box of Cheerios to one lucky fan. Cool promotion, right? Brand partnership stuff that every star player does these. But here's where things get interesting. And this is where I need you to pay close attention because the timing of this is absolutely critical. St. Brown's partnership with Cheerios started back in July as part of General Mills' second annual cereal training camp promotion. He got his own limited edition box of Honey Nut Cheerios featuring his signature honey handstand touchdown celebration. Those boxes hit stores nationwide in August, and it was a big moment for his personal brand. Athletes dream of getting on cereal boxes. It's iconic. It's a sign you've made it. But the giveaway announcement yesterday, just days before a massive Sunday night football game against the Eagles, has people wondering if there's more to this story than just a simple promotional campaign. Now, I want to be very careful here because I'm not going to spread baseless speculation, but I am going to connect some dots that a lot of people are missing. When a player of St. Brown's caliber starts ramping up off-field promotional activities in the middle of a championship push, when his foundation suddenly announces giveaways featuring his signature on corporate partnership products, when all of this happens right as trade deadline conversations are still fresh in everyone's minds, you have to ask yourself what's really going on. Is this just smart brand building? Is this a player maximizing his marketability while he's at the peak of his powers? Or is there something else happening behind the scenes that we're not being told about? Let me give you some context about why this matters so much. St. Brown isn't just any receiver. He's the identity of this offense. He's the guy Jared Goff looks for on third down. He's the receiver who runs the crispest routes, who has the best hands, who shows up in the biggest moments. His toughness and his chip on his shoulder mentality define what Dan Campbell wants this team to be. When you think about the Detroit Lions resurgence, when you think about how we went from being the laughingstock of the league to being Super Bowl contenders, Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of the main reasons why. Losing him would be catastrophic. It would fundamentally alter everything this team is trying to accomplish. But here's the reality of the modern NFL. Contracts don't mean what they used to mean. Players get traded all the time, despite having years left on their deals. Teams make calculated decisions based on salary cap management, roster construction, and long-term planning. And while I don't think the Lions are actively shopping St. Brown, while I don't believe they want to move him, the fact that his name is even being whispered in certain circles tells you that something is happening. Whether it's other teams making inquiries, whether it's agents positioning their clients for future negotiations, whether it's media narratives getting out of control, there's smoke here. And where there's smoke, Lions fans have learned to start looking for fire. The Cheerios giveaway might seem like a small thing, but it's part of a bigger pattern. St. Brown has been building his personal brand aggressively over the past year. He's got the foundation with his brothers. He's got multiple endorsement deals. He's active on social media in ways that go beyond typical player engagement. He's thinking about life after football, about creating generational wealth, about establishing himself as more than just an NFL player. That's smart. That's what every athlete should be doing. But it also raises questions about his long-term commitment to Detroit, about whether he sees himself finishing his career here or if he's keeping his. Options open for whatever comes next. I want to be clear about something. I'm not saying St. Brown wants out. I'm not saying the Lions are trying to trade him. What I am saying is that the landscape of this situation is more complex than it appears. The timing of increased promotional activity, the way his foundation is positioning him in the marketplace, the fact that we're in the middle of a season where every day matters and yet off-field business seems to be ramping up, all of it creates an environment where questions naturally arise. And as fans, as people who are emotionally invested in this team's success, we have a right to ask those questions. Think about what losing Amon-Ra would mean for this offense. Jared Goff's numbers would take a hit. Our third down conversion rate would drop. Our red zone efficiency would suffer. Teams would be able to focus more attention on Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery in the run game. The entire offensive ecosystem that Brad Holmes and Ben Johnson have built would need to be recalibrated. We'd be looking at a multi-year rebuild of our receiving cores, trying to find someone who can replicate even 70% of what St. Brown brings to the table. It's not just about stats. It's about leadership, about consistency, about having a guy you can count on every single week to make plays when the game is on the line. But let's also consider the other side of this equation. What if, and I'm just exploring possibilities here, what if there's a scenario where moving St. Brown actually makes sense for the Lions? What if another team offers a package that's too good to refuse? What if the front office sees an opportunity to acquire multiple high-value assets that could extend our championship window beyond the next 2 or 3 years? What if there are salary cap considerations we don't know about that make keeping him at $120 million over 4 years less feasible than it seems? I'm not advocating for trading him. I'm just saying that NFL front offices think about these things in ways that fans don't always consider. The Eagles game on Sunday Night Football is massive. It's a statement game. It's a chance for the Lions to prove they belong in the conversation with the NFC's elite team. And Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to be a huge part of that game plan. If he goes out and has a monster performance, if he shows the entire country why he's one of the best receivers in football, it only increases his value. It only makes him more attractive to other teams. It only adds fuel to whatever conversations might be happening behind closed doors. This is the reality of being a star player on a winning team. Your success creates opportunities, but it also creates complications. So here's what I think is really happening. And this is my honest assessment after looking at all the information available. I think St. Brown is doing exactly what he should be doing as a professional athlete. He's maximizing his brand. He's building his business empire. He's securing his financial future. The Cheerios giveaway is part of that. The foundation work is part of that. All of it is smart, calculated brand building. But I also think there are conversations happening at levels we're not privy to. I think other teams are absolutely monitoring his situation. I think agents are having discussions about market value and future possibilities. And I think the Lions front office is aware of all of it and is making contingency plans just in case something unexpected develops. Does that mean St. Brown is leaving Detroit? No. Does it mean a trade is imminent? Absolutely not. But it does mean that nothing is ever as secure as it seems in the NFL. It means that fans need to be prepared for all possibilities. It means that we should enjoy every single game we get to watch number 14 in Honolulu Blue, because in this league, things can change in an instant. Now I want to hear from you, Lions Nation. Do you think there's anything to these concerns about Amon-Ra's future in Detroit? Do you see the increased off-field activity as just smart business, or does it worry you? If another team offered a massive package for ST, Brown, would you want the Lions to consider it, or is he completely untouchable? And how much do you think his performance on Sunday Night Football against the Eagles matters for his long-term future with this franchise? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because I genuinely want to know how you're feeling about all of this. If you're not already subscribed to Lions News Fan Report, you need to fix that right now. This is where you get the deepest analysis, the most honest takes, and the fastest updates on everything Detroit Lions. I'm not here to hype you up with false hope or to create drama where none exists. I'm here to give you the real story, to help you understand what's actually happening, and to make sure you're never caught off guard by breaking news. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notification, and let's ride this season together, Lions fans. We've got something special happening in Detroit, and I'm going to be here covering every moment of it. See you in the next one.